Halo 5 Guardians. Is this the best game out of the entire Halo franchise? No, absolutely not. But it's not the worst game either. But before I go any further, let me just say that I will be spoiling quite a few details on the story of Halo 5. So if you've yet to play Halo 5, then, well, stop watching this video. Okay. Joel and Darla. Now, Joel and Darla was built up to be this great, interesting villain in the Escalation comics, in the Spartan Ops campaign of Halo 4, and in 2 out of the 3 novels of Halo 5. And unfortunately, he gets killed off in the first 5 minutes of this game. In fact, well, there isn't even a boss fight with Joel and Darla. He's supposed to be the leader of this new covenant, and in a cutscene, he gets killed in 5 seconds by Locke. He just sort of jumps on his back and stabs him in the neck. Which I think was... It's such a missed opportunity, because we've been following this character for a couple of years now, and he just gets killed off just like that. It's almost like an afterthought. So, with Joel and Darla, I think that his storyline was handled really poorly in this game. We do see the Arbiter again. It's always great to see the Arbiter, and I think that they could have done a bit more with him. We don't really see too much of him in this game, and hopefully we'll see more of him in the next game. So let's talk about Fireteam Osiris, specifically Locke. Locke is boring. He's incredibly boring. It's almost like they're trying to make a Master Chief Point 2. Don't do that. Master Chief is Master Chief. Try and make Locke Locke. Make him his own character. Make him interesting. Don't try and make him a carbon copy of Master Chief. Don't do that. It won't work. But the rest of Fireteam Osiris, I'll be honest, I don't really know too much about Tanaka. I think she may have made an appearance in Halo Escalation, but I can't be certain. But Olympia Vale, she's an interesting character because she's got this interesting backstory where she spent some time on some colonies that belong to the elites. She knows their language, she knows their culture really, really well. And she was one of the main characters in Halo Hunters in the Dark. And I think that there's a lot of potential with her, you know, with her character. And of course we get Buck, and Buck is played by Nathan Fillion. Nathan Fillion is great in whatever he does, and I think that he introduces quite a bit of humour into Halo 5 Guardians. If you don't know Buck, he was one of the main ODSTs in Halo ODST, where he was basically the leader of the squad. So yeah, having Buck as a Spartan was great, because he does inject some nice bit of humour every so often in this story. So you know, it was always nice to have him when he appeared. Now, with regards to Osiris themselves, I think they dominate the game way too much, because let's face it, we play Halo for Master Chief, and for Master Chief's missions with the rest of the Blue Team, you know, if you don't know who Blue Team are, read the novels, but basically they're Spartan 2s, and they're kind of his closest friends from when he grew up in the Spartan program. With Master Chief and Blue Team, we get maybe 3 to 4 missions with them, and we get about 8 at least, I think, with Fireteam Osiris. That's not a good idea. We should have spent much more time with Chief and less time with Osiris, because I think that it should have been about Blue Team and slowly introducing Osiris to be this major plot point later on. They didn't do that, and I think that was a shame that they did, you know, that they did it the way they did. But yeah, I think with the major problem with the story of Halo 5 Guardians is that it feels very much like setup for the next game. It kind of does a crime that Halo 2 does at the end, where it has this big massive cliffhanger, which was annoying. So yeah, there are some really good moments in Halo 5 Guardians. Like I said, Nathan Fillion is great, the cutscenes are fantastic as always, but there is one little nitpick though. The cutscenes are all you see of Chief versus Locke. Now, Halo 5 was kind of marketed to us as being this big showdown between Locke and Chief. It didn't happen. It's like a 2-minute cutscene where they punch each other for a little bit and then it just ends, you know. And they kind of dropped the ball in that particular aspect. But like I said, the cutscenes are great. The gameplay is fantastic. It does feel like a natural evolution to previous Halo games where you can issue team commands to your Spartan fire teams, which I must say, I'm glad I don't have to play with UNSC Marines, because UNSC Marines are useless. Their AI is just questionable at best. But I must say, the AI for the Spartans themselves, whether you're with Fireteam Osiris or Blue Team, the AI for your Spartans can be a bit questionable as well. I think they've got that problem. I don't know what it is with 343 and Bungie, when they had it as well, is that they can't seem to program your allies very well. I don't know, the computer for your allies have always been very questionable. But, again, I digress. There are some great moments in the story of Halo 5. It's great when we see the Arbiter, it's great when Buck appears, and there are some fantastic imagery in the story of Halo 5. And the moment where you get Master Chief trying to convince Cortana to come back to the light side, come back home with him, to stop what she's doing, that was great. Because bear in mind, Chief and Cortana have been together almost, well, basically since the beginning. And I think the fact that they're enemies now, it's an interesting twist on the story. But let's talk about multiplayer. I see multiplayer being slowly becoming more like Call of Duty every day, because I don't know, they've got this perk system. They kind of introduced it with Halo 4, and unfortunately with Halo 5 they got these microtransactions. Halo should not have microtransactions. It's never had microtransactions, at least as far as I know, they never had microtransactions, and it shouldn't have them now. And they've taken out a couple of game modes as well, which were some old favourites of mine, specifically Big Team Battle, where it's like 8 versus 8, and you got tanks, wraiths, mantises, and it felt like a big battle against the enemy team. They don't have that now, but most likely they'll introduce free DLC, which may bring back certain old favourites. So hopefully Halo's multiplayer will look very different 6 months from now than what it is, as it stands. So yes, hopefully they will improve on the Halo multiplayer experience, because I think that just like the story, Halo's multiplayer was a big part of the game as well, and they've kind of half screwed it up at the moment, so hopefully they'll fix it. And yes, do I recommend Halo 5 Guardians? If you're a die-hard Halo fan, you've already played the game. I think if you're a casual Halo fan, I probably wouldn't buy it full price, because like I said, this game feels very much like setup for the next one. Not to say that it's a bad game, it's not a bad game. It was enjoyable, I enjoyed playing the story, even though the story had problems, and even though multiplayer is kind of broken, I did have some good matches. So yeah, if you're a casual gamer, wait until you get a good deal. But if you're a great Halo fan and you love the story and you really want to know what happens, then by all means, yeah, buy it straight away. But Halo 5, not a perfect game, it could have been much better, but still an enjoyable experience that I'm sure you won't regret getting. Thank you very much for watching, I'll see you next time.